Hey everyone, Bobby Holland here. Welcome to another episode of SEO Secrets. I am in the middle of a new series called Google Map Ranking Secrets, and this is episode number 2, where I will share secret number 2 in how to increase your Google Map rankings. All right. In this particular episode, I am going to talk about the relationship between the authority of your website and how that impacts your Google Map rankings. All right. So this is actually one of the, quote unquote secrets, if you will. One of the things I talk about when I talk about it, it's the thing that people seem to be the most unaware of. Well, the first thing I talked about last episode, people are actually pretty unaware that the city name on Google Maps is actually the geographic center of that city. That's pretty prominent. People are unaware of that. But this particular secret number 2, the relationship between the authority of your website and your rankings in Google Maps. People don't realize how tightly or how closely correlated those two things are. So when I talk about the authority of your website, what I'm really referring to is a few different things. Number 1 is just the pure domain authority of your URL, your website URL. Okay, you can find the domain authorities a couple different ways. Used to be something called PageRank that Google would just give you what they say on a basis of 0 to 10. They would give you a PageRank number to tell you the authority of your site. Well, Google got rid of that PageRank figure or variable, and now you can find it with things like Moz. Moz will give you a domain authority rating, rated 0 to 100. You can use Ahrefs, where they call it a domain rating or a DR. That is basically the same thing. It's a metric that tells you the authority of your website. And also on Ahrefs, that's the one we use predominantly. They also, just like with Moz, rate websites on a scale of 0 to 100. So when I say the authority of your website directly correlates and contributes to your rankings and visibility in Google Maps, what I mean is the higher the level of your authority of your website or your website URL, the higher your level of authority, the more power you're going to have to rank higher and have more visibility in Google Maps. Okay, so that's kind of the secret number 2 is that relationship. Now, the obvious question is, well, how do I improve the authority of my website? Right? If the authority of my website increases or impacts my rankings in Google Maps, how do I increase the authority of my website? Well, there's a couple ways. Number 1 is what we refer to as site structure. Okay, so site structure means what is the quality of the overall structure of your website. And let me give you an example, a real live example of one of our clients that recently came on. They are a criminal defense lawyer. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you the city or anything. I'm just using this as an example. So they are a criminal defense lawyer. Well, they have the homepage of their website, right, which is great, and it tells, has a call to action, talks about the law firm, some of their accolades. Well, the meta title of their homepage is criminal defense and DUI lawyer. So in essence, the homepage of their website is optimized for both criminal defense and DUI lawyer. Okay. The problem is, and this gets to the site structure issue, is that they have a top tier page or a practice area page within their website that is one designated to criminal defense lawyer, and they have another practice area page that is designated to DUI lawyer. Okay, so from a site structure standpoint, when you have your homepage optimized for your main keyword phrases, but then you have top tier pages, landing pages within your website that are also optimized for those key products or services that you offer, you now have what we refer to as a fragmented website. Okay, so back to the topic of site structure. The quality of your site structure is how well or or the degree of fragmentation that you are able to solve or resolve within your website. Okay, so if your homepage is optimized for your key services or products, but then you have those top tier pages, that is a very low quality level of site structure. On the other hand, if you have your homepage, for example, optimized for your business name and your brand, and then you have a landing page, in the example I gave, a landing page for criminal defense lawyer, and that page is all about criminal defense lawyer. And then you have another page that's for DUI lawyer, and that page is just optimized for DUI lawyer. Whatever your product or service is, keeping a very tight one-to-one alignment within your website is how you achieve a very high degree of site structure. Okay, so that's one component of domain authority. Very simply, the backlink portfolio of your domain name or your website URL. Okay, so what I mean by that is Google always has and seems to be for the indefinite future, always will use as one of the number one ranking factors to determine the authority of the site of any website is your backlink portfolio, meaning all of the links that are out there on the web that point back to you. What is the authority of those sites that link back to you? And what is the quality and the relevance of those sites that are linking back to you? Okay. The more high quality and authoritative sites you have linking back to your website, the more domain authority you will have. Okay. And this idea of Google Map rankings and this secret number 2 that I'm sharing with you, what I'm saying is that the higher the authority of your website, the more authoritative you can make your website, the higher your rankings are going to be in Google Maps. And let me just end this episode with the connection between the two. So your rankings in Google Maps, the particular property that ranks in Google Maps for your business is your Google My Business listing, right? So in your Google My Business listing, you have the section in the info section on the admin side of your GMB, you have what's called website URL. There is where you're able to add the website URL for your business. Well, as soon as you add that website URL to your GMB, Google now looks to the authority of that website URL that you just associated with your GMB, and it's now feeding off the authority of that website URL. So that is the connection. That is how the domain authority, the overall authority of your website, how it is connected to your GMB. And what I'm saying is, from a strategy standpoint, once you understand that the authority of your site impacts and can influence your rankings in Google Maps, now it's a bit strange of a correlation, but in essence, what I'm saying is, if you want to increase your rankings in Google Maps, focus on increasing the authority of your website. So that is secret number 2 to Google Map rankings. I hope this is helpful. If you haven't yet, go back and listen to the last episode where I shared Google Map ranking secret number 1, which is where I talked about how the city name, it refers to the proximity factor of Google Map rankings, where you can see the city name actually appearing in Google Maps, and that city name is the geographic center of that city, and how you can leverage that for the proximity factor. But this episode number 2, my goal was to help you to see the relationship and the correlation between your domain authority and how that influences your rankings in Google Maps. So I hope this was helpful to you. I want to encourage you, if you're interested, go to Facebook and search SEO Secrets. Join our SEO Secrets Facebook group. I share these episodes there. We have a lot of great conversations going on there. Also, if you want to learn more about these particular strategies, you can go to our website, to bippermedia.com. Click the Let's Talk button. You'll see it on the screen. Click the Let's Talk button and schedule a call, and we would love to talk to you and answer any questions you might have. So stay tuned for the next episode, where I talk about Google Maps ranking secrets number 3. Thanks for listening.